how's everyone doing there tonight? This is Undead Nightmare 24, back with a video. It's going to be a Undead Saturday action and exploitation review. I do these on Saturday, and I'll review a film from the collection having to do with action or exploitation. And I pick one out of the collection and review it for you guys. So everyone sit back, relax, and enjoy. The film I got for this Saturday is going to be 1990's Marked for Death. This is a Steven Seagal film. It's directed by Dwight H. Little. He also directed Anaconda's Hunt for the Black Orchid, a sequel I do enjoy. Broken Arrow with Travolta and Slater. He was a producer in that film. This also stars, we got John Hatcher, our main role, played by Steven Seagal. You got his buddy Max, played by Keith David, from They Live and Man at Work. Legendary actor there. And then you got Sil Wallace. He came out Return of the Living Dead 3. He was like the homeless guy that lived in the sewers and stuff. He plays the villain in this film. And as I hadn't watched this film in years, I did go back and I noticed a young cast in this film. You have you got Danielle Harris, and she's a little girl in this film. I think it was right after her Halloween fame where she went to this and played a role also. She plays John Hatcher's niece, Seagal's niece. Yeah, this one also has Danny Trejo. He makes a cameo at the beginning, has a criminal that Hatcher's chasing. This also has Tom Wright. He plays a detective in this one, teams up with Hatcher and Max. And he also came out, I recognized him from Tales from the Hood, one of the Tales. So this has a pretty good cast in it. So let's get into the plot of the film. It's basically about a detective, kind of retired detective Hatcher, played by Seagal. He wants no part of violence anymore or the cop life. He's retired, so he just pretty much shows back up in this town. He's visiting family. He wants to see his niece and his sister and trying to keep a peaceful life. But then you got these gangs, well, pretty much like a mafia, Italian mafia, fighting this Jamaican gang, and they're trying to win the city over. And you got this Jamaica gang they're just outpowering the mafia. They're pretty crazy, and they got strong weaponry and some crazy leaders. You have some voodoo involved in this, and they're running the drug trade pretty much and running the Italians out. There's a little feud going on there, and they're pretty much asking Hatcher to come out of retirement and help, but he wants no part of it. He slowly starts to get involved, as we see, and then they're selling drugs at the school to the kids, the Jamaican gang, and then they're also they also cross paths with Hatcher, and they end up pretty much doing like a random drive-by and hurting his niece, striking her in the head with a bullet, as well as assaulting his sister, and that just sets him over the top. He comes back full force, more personal than cop matter, and he goes on a revenge wrath in this one, taking him out. You got some pretty cool fight scenes, and you got him just trying to chase the leader of this Jamaican gang, who's Screwface, and he's kind of this Jamaican voodoo guy, man. Pretty good villain. He's after his army to get to him. Has some pretty good action. So that's pretty much the film I could get into without giving too many spoilers. Let me talk about this film. There was a kind of like how could I say it? Like a streak, like a hot streak for Steven Seagal, like in the late 80s to early 90s, where he put out films like Above the Law. He also put out this is Marked for Death. He put out Hard to Kill, Out for Justice. He had some gems coming out all in a row, like during the year streak from the late 80s to early 90s, and Marked for Death is just one of them that's in there that's just real enjoyable. This is one of the films you'd pick up on VHS and have to rent or own, which I had it on VHS, and it's just a lot of fun. It's a different take. You have Seagal playing a kind of a less aggressive character until they push him over the edge, then he becomes that guy. While in his other films, he's just a straight aggressor. So there's a difference in that. The fight scenes are cool. I always used to see when I was younger, Seagal in fight scenes, so he breaks their arms. You just see their arms going opposite directions. You got some eye gouges out in this, some hands cut off. It's a pretty gory film, which was cool. And Keith David plays great as Max in this as his sidekick. and there's a lot of fun shootouts in this one. And the Jamaican soundtrack's cool. Has some classic Jamaican music, and it's pretty funny because like on this movie also I wanted to say that you have like pretty much these Jamaicans are pretty much you could tell they're not Jamaican, but they're just wearing dreadlock wigs. They come in as extra guys fighting, and it's just hilarious. And there's some cheesy one-liners by Seagal. You have him where he shoots this mafia guy in the head, and he's pretty much like the mafia guy tells him before he kills him, "You made a mistake. I'm a made man." So then you have Seagal shoot him in the head. He tells him, "God made man." It's just hilarious. Man, you got the cheesy one-liners in this one. There's one also where one of the Jamaicans flies out the window, and right after that scene, and then he goes back with Keith David, and they're in the car, and he's just like, "What happened?" You know, Keith David tells him, "He's all, one guy thought he was invincible, one guy thought he could fly," and Keith David's like, "What?" And he's like, "They were both wrong." It's just those cheesy one-liners that make this film a classic, and yeah, I really enjoy this film. So I'm going to give my final, my opinion and my rating for this film. I'm going to give this one, I got to give it a perfect score. I'm going to go 10 out of 10. Love this film. I feel it's an underrated Seagal film, and this one I can watch over and over. So that's going to be my opinion, personal opinion, and my review for Marked for Death. Hope everyone's having a great weekend out there. Stay safe, be kind to each other. This is an Undead Saturday action and exploitation review. Everyone take care, be safe. Peace.
Jamaican gangs known as posses are now dominating the American drug trade.
In Above the Law, he got tough.
Who's that?
John Hatcher, DEA.
In Hard to Kill, he got even.
It's not the time for you to walk out of me. I've had enough. He thinks she's retired.
He still looks functional to me.
Now, the man with the short fuse is marked for death.
I want you to meet my sister, goddess of fire.
Steven Seagal is John Hatcher.
He's dead. And he don't even know it.
A good cop
Your family has been marked.
in a bad mood.
Said he'd kill us both.
I don't think he's gonna get the chance.
What are you planning to do?
I'm gonna take out the posse. One thought he was invincible. The other thought he could fly. They were both wrong. Who do you fear? Him or me? I'm gonna deliver you into the light.
Steven Seagal is marked for death.
It's my silent partner.
But this time, he's bringing out the big guns. Steven Seagal, marked for death.
I used